My background as an IT professional is quite interesting. I think I studied computer science at university, but never really intended to use it. It was just a tool, you know, one of the tools you learn and one of the things you learn about as part of any kind of university course nowadays. Ended up working for Air New Zealand and ended up in a role where I basically made a transition to, I was working in a contact centre and made a transition to being a sort of a screwdriver guy and a bit of a local sysadmin. And from there, my career's just it sort of wandered through kind of every part of IT. Got to a point in Air New Zealand where I thought I want to go and try something else. Ended up at a company called W. Stevenson & Sons in Auckland, which is a vertically integrated building products. So they do raw materials extraction, manufacturing, supply, wholesale retail of building products as their IS manager for a number of years. And then during that period, did an almost wholesale replacement. That was my first experience kind of as a senior IT professional, having the opportunity to work within an organisation that had done some IT work and had done some serious IT work and was ready to take the next step in terms of its IT. How I landed at Watercare, I basically landed here as a consultant working for a consulting firm. At the time that I came here, the Auckland Transition Agency had been set up, and Mark Ford, who was the chief executive of Watercare, had taken Mike Foley, the Watercare CIO, over to the Auckland Transition Agency to be his stream lead across all the process and systems. So I came here as a backfill for Mike and have been running BAU as in the CIO role to take care of the organisation and the business, but also running the program of the integration program that's being run through Watercare as part of the Super City. Watercare is it's a very engineering focused organisation. A very cost-focused organisation. It's run to a commercial model, as the CCOs were intended to be. So rather than being politically controlled and working to a political agenda, it is working to a commercial imperative, by which it basically needs to provide good wholesale water to Auckland, and obviously provisioning the assets and running the operation to achieve that at a good price for Aucklanders. So the current integration project happening at Watercare is part of the overall Super City program. Watercare is going from being the wholesaler to being really the vertically integrated water supply company, so the wholesaler and the retailer for Auckland. To give you some idea of the scope, Watercare is going from having 6 customers as a wholesaler to being a retailer with 427,115 at last count. So I think in terms of the significant challenges in going from 6 customers to 427,000, the biggest issue I think is taking a business which has been very internally focused, very engineering focused, very sort of quality and cost focused, into the retail space, which is quite a different world. You have to be responsive to customers, you have to understand customers, you have to treat customer demand, whether it's realistic or not, with respect and respond appropriately. Another key part of the strategy is the web strategy. So across the LNOs currently, a couple of them are quite web savvy. And we are looking to take the best out of that and move forward with a pretty solid retail web presence. So we're looking to provide customers the opportunity to come in and set up a My Account at Watercare where they can view bills online, they can pay bills online, either by credit card or through bank transactions. Offering services like for landlords that own multiple properties and are obviously responsible for water bills to be able to come and set up My Account and aggregate all of their properties under that so that they can manage all their property billing in one place. And the idea with that is trying to be able to reduce the requirement for the contact centre to have physical CSRs sitting in seats answering calls. The more that we can push information out to the web, the more that we can push service out to the web. That provides not only a more efficient channel for us in terms of reducing cost of servicing customers, but it's also efficient for customers. So from an infrastructure sort of integration perspective, it's not been as simple as just taking the wholesale business and bolting on 6 separate retail businesses. I guess in a traditional kind of merger and acquisition model, you'd absorb them kind of one at a time. But it's not really a matter of absorbing them either, because it's completely new business for Watercare. So it's not a matter of just bolting it on the outside. It's a matter of having to create a complete vertically integrated, new business model. So around that, we've had to set up a new ERP, so a new asset management and billing system, which we've merged all of the 6 retail companies into, and a new geographical information system, so new GIS, with all of the geographical and spatial information around our assets, a new record system that integrates all of the LNO's records into a single. So, because again, we're putting up a customer-facing contact centre which is staffed by CSRs, and expecting a CSR to be able to use 6 different billing systems, 6 different GISs, 6 different record systems is just unrealistic. We're trying to create a single face to the customer, a single set of business rules, a a good, solid, retail, customer-focused presentation layer. And the only way to achieve that is to have good, solid, integrated systems behind it. So the whole integration program is scheduled to land on the 1st of November. That's the date that's been set by government as being the date that the new super city comes into existence. So effectively on midnight on the 31st of October, the current councils and the current CCOs all cease to exist and the new entities come into being. And it's been interesting and challenging from a project perspective because obviously time's one of the levers you have to play with in a project, usually dealing with time, cost and quality. In this case we have no option around time whatsoever, so we have to land on that date because it's mandated by government. And so cost and quality have been the two levers we have to play with. And quality doesn't necessarily mean quality, quality can be scope as well, and that's really what we've done. We've not necessarily de-scoped stuff, but we have everything that we've designed, we have had an eye for, well, we have to make it work on day one, but we might have some work to do afterwards. So in reality, day one is not the finish line, it's really just the start line. It's the start line for the fully integrated business, but it's the start line for the next 2 or 3 years worth of program that we're going to spend optimising and consolidating and really making sense out of what we've done. One of the huge challenges in the project has been the people and the organisation side, both from an overall organisation perspective as an organisation to deliver solutions to, but also from the point of view of delivering an IS team to support it going forward. So usually in a project, even in a big major change project, there are some fixed points within the organisation. In this case, that hasn't been the way at all. Late last year, when I first got engaged, we were trying to identify business stakeholders, and although there's a lot of people in the business who have been here a lot of years, no one was really sure about what their roles were going to be in the new Watercare organisation or the super city, and really couldn't really stick their hand up and take ownership of stuff. The PMO formed 3 work streams, which were sort of aggregations of people out of Watercare and the LNOs across 3 key areas, so customer, operations and corporate services, and then they were underscored by HR and IS and those kind of shared services to provide the muscle for those groups to deliver the projects. But it's been very, very challenging all the way through the project as the organisation structure has been finalised and as appointments have been finalised. So we're just rolling through level 5 and 6 appointments now, so we're just getting finalised. But in those early days, finding out who owned something, getting an answer from them in terms of how they wanted the business to be was very challenging, both for those people and for us, because the people themselves didn't know. Now we're at the other end of that and we're getting towards level 5 and 6, and the people that are going to do the job are getting appointed and going, no, that's not it, we want to do it this way. So it's been fun from that point of view. It's been very hard, and the other side too has been pulling the IT organisation together. So an IT organisation that supports 280 users is quite different from an IT organisation that's required to support 650 users. So we've done a sort of a from scratch rebuild of the IT organisation based on a kind of a best practice of what are the services we have to deliver, what does the structure that needs to deliver that have to look like. But then as we've gone, obviously we appoint people into roles and they go, no, you've got rocks in your head, you want to do it this way. So it's been a very, very challenging, evolving process.